Well, hello, Falcons. It's Mrs. Walton, and I'm back to read to you this week a book that I chose. And I'm here reading to you tonight from my living room. And I think you can see over my shoulder, we just finished decorating the Christmas tree. So I was really excited to show that to you. So I picked a book tonight, and this book is called Hosea Plays On, and it's by Kathleen and Blasi. Hosea Plays On. What do you think he's playing? Okay. Hosea tucked his shiny brass saxophone in its velvet-lined case and glanced at the wakening sky. On a day like this, he thought, I could play forever. He smiled. Maybe, just maybe, he would earn enough today. He's putting his saxophone in his case. He stepped outside. Nate, his neighbor, looked up from raking the leaves with his dad. "Mornin'," they called. Nate lifted the rake handle to his lips and pretended to play. There's Nate. "Keep practicing, my man," Hosea said with a tip of his hat. Hosea waited for the number 25, then dropped in his coins. Ka-plink, plink, plink. The city scrolled past, each stop bringing him closer to the public market. Screech, whoosh, screech. Hosea clomped down the steps and shuffled through the brittle dancing leaves. He stepped through the market's archway and shooed cooing pigeons that were scrounging for breakfast. There he is getting on the bus. The number 25. He's putting in his money. And he's shooing away those birds. Hosea made his way to his favorite playing spot, near a coffee shop. Beneath gathering clouds, folks streamed into the market. Hosea settled in, opened his case, and pulled out his saxophone. He took a deep breath and then released a tune long and low. Fingers fluttered, keys clicked, smoky notes lifted through the air, threading along to waiting ears. People slowed, then stopped to listen to the melody. Stretch, climb, soar, and fall. The crowd gathered to listen to him. Some folks sat on the ground. Some dropped money into Hosea's case. His eyes crinkled with joy, and he kept on. Between songs, a woman asked him how long he'd been playing. "This old thing?" Hosea asked. "Not as long as my first love." The woman raised her eyebrows. Miss Clara Nett. He winked and started a new riff. As the sun ducked behind darkening clouds, a little girl stepped forward. She began to sway. The crowd hushed. She dipped and twirled, her toes a sweeping whisper. When the song was over, the girl curtsied, then poised for their next duet. But a peppering rain scattered the crowd to a nearby pavilion. Hosea played on. You see him playing in the rain? Later, Hosea sifted through the money in his case. No maybes about it. He'd earned enough. He packed up and made his way toward the market's exit. With a stop to make before heading home, he boarded number 39. What do you think he wants enough money for? The music shop's door squeaked his arrival. "Good afternoon, Hosea," Ms. May waved him in. "What'll it be today?" "How about a nice trumpet to go?" "How many trumpet players does that band of yours need?" Mrs. May teased. "Always room for one more," answered Hosea. He chose one he thought was just right. Near home, Hosea stepped onto the sidewalk. He listened to the music of the day, the scritch-scratch of the leaves, the whistle of the wind, the groan of a nearby bridge as a truck passed over it. With one hand hidden behind his back, Hosea watched Nate march towards him. "How'd it go, Mr. Hosea?" "Like this, Nate. Put that phony horn away." Hosea pulled the trumpet case from behind his back. "Because now you have a real one to play." Nate's face lit up. "For me? Thank you." He clutched the case to his chest. "Will you teach me too?" "Depends," answered Hosea. "Are you ready to learn?" They settled on the stoop. Hosea lifted the shiny brass trumpet from its velvet-lined case and handed it to Nate. The boy drew in a breath, then released a tangled tune. Together, the two played on. And there's a picture at the end of Hosea. And one of the things I love about this book is the author's note at the end of the book. And this book is written about a real man. Can you see his picture? That's the real Hosea right there, playing his saxophone. His name was Hosea Missouri Taylor Jr., and he was a musician in New York, and he played several instruments, including the saxophone, the clarinet, the trumpet, and the flute. And you know what he did? He often would buy musical instruments for some of the neighbors, and not only did he purchase musical instruments for them, but he taught them how to play. And every summer, everyone that he taught would gather together with Hosea, and they would have a parade. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? I hope you liked that book, Hosea Plays On. I'll be back next week with another story. Happy reading!